Hi, good afternoon. My name's Tina Parks and I'm from the British Academy of Floral Art, and you're joining me again in my kitchen. And I thought for this little segment that we would look still just a little bit more Christmas and also a little sneak peek at some of the work we've been doing with the masterclass, which I had Monday and Tuesday. So this design is actually a design that I've made from the masterclass, and we've been looking at form linear and Ikebana influenced design. So obviously I'm not an Ikebana master, that takes a lot of practice and many years of study, but Ikebana itself is really interesting as a design concept. And we were having a look at we were going back to basics. So we went right back to balance. So we were looking at the understanding and the usage and the skill within balance. And so what we thought we would do is pare it right down. So we started working with either form linear designs or with Ikebana inspired designs, not totally Ikebana, but inspired by. Or some of the students did what they call limited designs, and we were just playing with all sorts of things in that aspect. So this is a design, and when you're studying Ikebana, one of the key things I think about that style of work is the understanding and care that people have when they're handling the material. They really take care to present the material in its best possible way, so really understanding its characteristics, its little cute twist. Like this lovely leaf here I've got is actually a beetroot leaf that I've just picked from my veg garden because I saw it. And look at how it twists around. Isn't that stunning? It's just got this amazing little twist in it. It's so cute. And it's got this beautiful dark colour centre, midrib vein going right down the centre of the leaf, which is beautiful burgundy colour, which is picking up really beautifully with this lovely listeria. And this musa leaf on this side as well. So yeah, I just thought it was so pretty and so stunning. I just loved its architectural value, and that twists through the arrangement. If I pull it a little further, you should be able to see the top there. So it's in an all-round container, and we've used a pin holder in the base. So this adds quite a lot of challenge to get these to balance. So we're using them with fix and without. So if we could see if we could create designs without the fix, so that we could see how the weight of the material needed to be counterbalanced. So the length versus the height and the width and the weight, the solid view of the flower material, so how it looked and how it actually felt. So I really like the Ikebana concept. I like the meditation, the mindfulness of creating the design and feeling the time to be in the zone with it. So really closing your mind to everything else and just allowing the material, I find, to lead me with the design. So finding this leaf and then looking for material that had this colour combination, this green and this lovely burgundy tone. So I had a look in the garden to see what I could find. And then I challenged the concept there just to show off. Sometimes if you put everything that's to the same colour, you blend everything. So in Ikebana, what we're tending to look for is we're looking for the silhouette and the line of the material. That's the same as when we're looking at form linear, we're looking at the individualness of the material. So what I decided to do is go with like an opposite colour. So I've gone with a purple in there. So we've got a burgundy, and then we've got, which is on the red side, and then we've got this purple colour, which is on the blue side. So they kind of like slightly contrast, not too heavily, but just a little. And then that kind of shows off those two differences. So we've got the purple repeated down here with the lovely passiflora, and then into the berries, and then the lysosteria in the other berry form, which is the lovely sort of formosa, so it's trailing that form, and then it's married with the leaf and with the centre of the leaf in the lovely beetroot. So, and a few little berries tucked down into, just to cover my container in there. So it's really interesting to have a play with the material. Now this is a much easier design. I thought this would be easier to show you because it's upright and it fits into the screen a little bit better. But obviously we were working at horizontal, we were looking at diagonal versions, so we were looking at cascade versions. So we were looking at all different ways that we could use a pin holder and how we could get the pin holder to work. One of the little tips that I discovered researching this was a little clever idea that I saw from a lady who was teaching Ikebana, and she puts a wire through her pin holder. So I don't know if you can see that. Let's just show you a bit more closely. Can you see there's a wire? So there's a hook there on the top. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little hook on the top there, and that goes right the way through, and then I bend it back round over the edge of the dish. So you fold your wire over, you pull it through the pin holder, so it's set in the middle of the pin holder, and then you can hook your ends over the edge of your dish, and you can suspend your pin holder on the side of a round dish. Can you see that? So it's really interesting, and then you have all sorts of interesting play with the visual of the counterbalance. So when you have material leaning this way or leaning this way, how it looks like it's balancing in the vase, which is obviously curved. Sometimes your vase is completely curved, you've got no base at the bottom, and that's very difficult to then insert a pin holder. So this is quite nice. The only thing we did realise that was useful to note is that you need to make sure the pin holder can still be low enough in the container that when the water is covering, all the stalks can still drink. So that was a nice little tip that I saw. We also looked at other materials to stand arrangements of flowers in. So we were looking at these are recyclable plastic straws, and this was interesting to play with for a container, and then to insert flower material either into the straw directly or between the straws. So that gave you quite a nice construction. Obviously you can use them at full height, which extends the length of the vase, or you could use them in a lower part of the vase, so that could be quite nice. We also had this idea as well. So this was another little technique I picked up. This was bundling. So we've bundled sticks together, and I've just used an elastic band, if you can see the blue there, just to bind them together so that nice and firm. That allows you, the elastic allows you, when you put the stalk in, that it allows the stalk to move in the twigs because they move about, and then sort of almost clamp back on them. And if you were putting this in a tall vase, a little trick that I saw, which was really clever, is to insert a stick up into them, and then the twigs will sit much higher up in the vase, so you don't need massive amount of twigs. So if you haven't got too many twigs, you can cut them down to make a nice fat bundle to fit the vase nicely so it doesn't rock around. But obviously you can, in the vase, you can use the twig then. Then your stalks can come all the way through, or this could go into a ceramic vase, so you just would see perhaps either the top of the twigs or maybe not any of the twigs. You could take the ceramic vase right to the top, and then you would just see your flowers. I've got a couple of grasses and a piece of flower in there, so then that can just work in, but it holds it really, really well, and it just is a nice organic medium to hold the flowers in. Obviously the branches don't last a huge amount of time, just like anything else in water. They do break down and deteriorate, but it's quite a nice way if you were doing something at home to put flowers through, or maybe for an event, maybe that's just a day. So you can make your little twig bundles up way in advance and then just work your flowers into them on the day. So we had real fun really playing with all the mechanics and all the design, so that we could just explore lots of different things. So they created loads and loads of designs, and then we reviewed all sorts of things within the design. So we looked at the theory of Ikebana, we looked at the theory of form linear, we looked at how far things were fitting correctly in that, or how far we were sliding outside of that. So Gregor uses a scale called a sliding scale. And so, for example, if we put form linear at the one end and decorative at the other, the more material we add, the more the design slides toward decorative. Or if we use the material in a more decorative way, so for example, rolling the leaves or stapling or twisting or adding some detail like that, it adds decorative tone to it, and it slides the design from being really pure form linear at this end at number 10 perhaps, right the way down. And if you add lots and lots of material, so you lose the silhouettes and you lose the characteristics, and you add lots of sort of nice detail work, then you can slide it right down and decide that it's actually now become a decorative piece. So it's really interesting to see how that influences your materials and what your decision making is when you're deciding what you want to achieve from it. So a little quick I know we've talked about Christmas, but I just do a little quick bit on there. I was hunting, I said last week that I was being really enjoyed going around and having a look to see what people are selling for Christmas this year. And this week I went to John Lewis, which was really lovely. And they have quite a lot of beautiful pieces, but they had quite a lot of character pieces, which I thought were quite interesting. They've got also these little cards, which are quite nice, which have all the different sort of themes on for Christmas. And we've got a couple of key themes that they're showing as well. So we've got the all white, which is quite strong. And they've got this lovely, it's Impressionist. And this one is the Renaissance. This is their pink tone. And this year they've put it with a gold and a taupe or a champagne colour, but they've also warmed it slightly and just given it a little contrast with a little blue-green touch in there, which is quite nice. So it's interesting to see how the different stores are using the pink, if they're softening it or if they're warming it, or if they're adding a little contrast colour to it. So it's really fun just to sort of get out there and have a little look and see what's going on. But I just wanted to show you a few of the little characters I picked up. For those of you who've got children, or if you're designing sort of with more children in mind, which sometimes I think in the florist, we have to remember that the children will buy things as well. I ask their parents to get it for them. But there's a couple of really interesting trees where they put lots of sort of children's things in. And he's quite cute. So this is a little octopus. So he comes from that lovely pink green collection that they're running. So this very pale pink with the pale green. And he's really quite nice, beautiful glass little octopus, which is a squid, I think he may be. Maybe he's just meant to be a squid. But I just thought he was really, really cute. And he's a really interesting one because he's helping bringing those two colours together. So when you're putting the tree together, it gives you a start point for the idea of the colours to go with the tree. So he's really sweet. This is really a nice one for the littles. So this is part of their little dinosaur set. How cute is he? Look at him. He's a little glass dinosaur, little Diplodocus perhaps, I'm not quite sure which one he's meant to be, but he's really, really sweet. And I could definitely imagine if I went in there with a little Pete's that they would definitely be wanting this one on the tree. So I thought he was quite fun and quite sweet. And sort of, adding a little bit of character and a little bit fun for Christmas. And this one, the final one that I picked to show you, is their little chameleon. Look at him, isn't he cute? They do these in lots of different colours, schemes. This is the lime green one, and he's got a real bit of sparkle on him, and sparkle is definitely quite strong this Christmas. So I think this one could be quite a popular little hit. And also, because they've had a few adverts sort of with these guys in them, so I kind of see there's quite a nice little collection there. This one's quite nice with the lime green and the gold, so he would be really nice if you were doing a scheme where you had the lime greens and the golds and you would bring them all together. Something like this is quite nice because it helps to blend the scheme together. It gives it purpose and connectivity with the colours used in the little chameleon there. But I thought he was really, really sweet. He's not glass, this is a lot more like a plastic one, this one. So he's probably a bit easier, a bit safer on the ones if you've got littles. But so quite cute. So I think that's all from me today. So thank you so much for joining us. We've got loads of people joined. Thank you so much for joining in and listening. Some really interesting questions there. So sorry, they're going quite quickly. I can't see all of them. But Catherine's on the other end. So Catherine's one of our amazing tutors who works at the Academy, and she's answering you back. So she's always doing all the responses there. So just type anything, you've got any queries. If you want any more information, we have our website. Please go to that and have a look. There's lots of information on there about everything we offer. And we've got some really nice little Christmas workshops coming up as well. So some of the details are on there as well. Or some nice little tasters if you're in the local area and you fancy doing a little half day with a friend, or maybe a nice little Christmas present to buy a little gift voucher. So that's also possible. But thank you so much for joining me, and I will look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. Thank you very much.